Okay, guys. I was just thinking about this morning once I finished up Tokyo Xanadu, and I was thinking what developers need to realize when you're making a video game. Uh, Most importantly, an RPG like Tokyo Xanadu or an action game like Odin Sphere Racer, which is a port of the old PS2 game, Odin Sphere. If you've ever played it, I recommend it anyway. Aside from that, anyway, uh, maybe the problem wouldn't be so bad in Tokyo Xanadu if you would have had more things to do aside from the main story. Uh, I guess that's why it felt draggy when I hit that 35 or 40 hour mark. It felt really draggy, and I had to push myself to finish the game, you know? And I was thinking that, I was thinking maybe developers need to not have your side missions be samey, you know? If it's an open world game like Skyrim, you can get away with it. Having a game that's 100+ hours long or whatever, because you're doing multiple things in Skyrim. From what I've heard, I have yet to play it yet, but you can do so much stuff in that game. So instead of just going through the motions of going through point A to point B to finish the main campaign, you're off doing X, Y, and Z, which is totally different from probably doing the stuff you do on the main game, you know? But Tokyo Xanadu, you were doing fetch quests, and the way the game is broken down into chapters. Each chapter is about 3 days each, and it's about roughly 5 to 6 hours to get you through one chapter. Uh, so within that chapter, you have maybe 4 or 5 uh, quests each, which is not a lot, people. You know, and they're the usual fetch quests. You know, go find my tennis shoes I left at the park. I couldn't find them, or I lost my trumpet. And those quests would have you going through a dungeon and clearing it out, finding the shoes or trumpet at the end of the dungeon, and bringing them back to the character, whoever asked for them. But in doing that, you're doing the exact same thing you would do for a normal mission, which is clearing out a dungeon. So you're doing the exact same thing, you know? And I guess that's why it felt same old, and it felt draggy by the time I got to the 35 or 40 hour mark, because you're doing the exact same thing. If you're going to do a 50-hour game like Tokyo Xanadu, at least have your side quest different than the main quest. Even though you can find recipes, you can cook in the game, you can do skateboarding, little mini games where you hop on a skateboard and you do little courses. You can go to the arcade and play, I think, 3 or 4 different games. I think there's, trying to think, not fishing, skateboarding, arcade, cooking. I think there's one more mini game you can do. But even with all that, the side missions, the side quests are still the same old thing. And I think if you're going to do a small game like this, then your side quest stuff needs to be something different, you know? And I don't know, that's just my complaints. Like I said, if you have a game like Skyrim or whatever, you know, you can get away with that because you've got so much stuff to occupy your time and you're doing different things, you know. But with this, because it was so self-contained, it felt draggy, you know. And that's what lowered, it was still a good game now, but it took off some points on my own personal score, you know, because of that. And I think developers need to try to just be more conscientious of what they're doing when it comes to making RPGs like that, especially smaller games like Tokyo Xanadu, you know. And I know there's only so much you can do with the RPG, but I'm sure if I sat down and thought about it, I could come up with more things, you know, you could do. But that was just my thoughts on it, what the developers could do. And one more thing, this is my own personal gripe. Stop sticking platforming elements in an action RPG. That's one of my biggest complaints. And it wasn't that difficult, but I'm really bad about getting my timing right and all that. And if I want to play a platforming, I'll play a Mario game, you know, or a Kirby or what have you. But I don't want platforming elements in an RPG. I want, you know, RPG elements. I don't want time levels in an RPG, you know. I just suck at platforming elements. That's why, you know. And especially on this game, there's a lot of annoying platforming elements. I think I showed one of them on one of my videos, and I went through one this morning on the last dungeon, which took me forever to get through. And it got to the point where I was like, oh, I wanted to stop the game because it got so bad. But I persevered and got through the game. But, okay, guys, let me stop. I'm just repeating myself. But I still recommend Tokyo Xanadu to anybody with a PS Vita or a PS Vita TV or a PS4, because they're porting this to the PS4 with more content. So I'm not knocking the game. It's just a few little annoying nitpicks that kind of just got to me. Okay, guys, take care.